What's going on, y'all? H-Dog here today to talk to you about everything that happened this week in news. It was a good amount of decent stuff to talk about. But before we get into it, the elephant in the room, yes, I'm Babyface. Also, if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot if you hit the like button and consider subscribing to stay updated on the latest gaming news out there. It seems like PlayStation renamed their PC Mobile to PlayStation PC, which again, this sent a lot of people into a tirade, mostly the PlayStation fanboys. I'm gonna tell you, like I told you last week about God of War coming to PC. At this point, people need to just get over it, accept it, and just don't give a shit. Returnal's newest update added a photo mode and something called Suspend Cycle, which pretty much would allow you to pause the cycle and for you to continue later. Like if you want to, close the game out, or you want to cut the console off, give it a rest or whatever, and then cut it back on the next day. When you cut it back on, basically it picks up where it left off when you cut the game off. But the thing is that won't make this like a cheese and an exploit is something where as soon as you use the suspend cycle once, it pretty much deletes and you can't just cheese it. Now at first, when I first saw this, I felt mixed. Now if it was something where people could cheese it, and let's say if the game was able to let you save every time you died, or let's say even a death couldn't really mess up your game, or to where you would have to start back from the beginning, then it would have been a big enough issue to have it to where it could be its own video. But I digress. Halo Infinite showed off some new gameplay for the campaign, where it pretty much has this theme of what actually happened to Cortana. Chief teams up with this new AI called the Weapon. She's just dubbed the Weapon. You'll encounter Marines that can join your fights. The player is free to choose how to fight the Banished. Master Chief can upgrade his abilities and much more. Now when I saw the gameplay for the campaign, it looked cool. It looks like it's a whole lot of fun, but it wasn't nothing that blew me away that made me look at it and say this is a console seller for me. It looked okay. It didn't blow me away. But yeah, it's gonna be available day one on Game Pass, so you ain't gotta spend $60. A rumor that Warner Brothers is working on a platform fighter that could be similar in scope to Smash Bros. And Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl that features fighters like Shaggy, Mad Max, Gandalf, and more. Industry insider Jeff Grubb corroborated the leak, but says that the developer behind it is not NetherRealm. Multiverses, saying from a source that it looks cheap, could be free to play, future characters will be sold as DLC. First DLC fighter could be Warner Brothers' very own LeBron James. PlayStation being petty, they dropped some details on the same exact day for Horizon Forbidden West. They detailed the full DualSense support through each mechanic, 12 Valor Surge attacks, which is a super having 3 different levels. Machines and enemies can fight in groups, and plenty of new weapons, some returning ones. Aloy can now wall jump, which, like I said, PlayStation is notorious for doing this. Anytime there's some news for the Microsoft camp, PlayStation is going to be there to be petty PlayStation. A rumor that kind of went hot this week about a Wu-Tang Clan themed action RPG codenamed Shaolin in the works, which is in partnership with Xbox, which is supposed to be a third-person RPG with melee-oriented combat, 4-player co-op support, campaign with rich in-game and seasonal content, soundtrack by the Wu-Tang Clan. Now, when I first saw this, I really don't know what to think about it. I don't know who exactly is going to be behind this. But honestly, I would have wanted something that possibly would have came off as like another GTA clone rather than a melee RPG. But if it looks good, I'll check it out. It's Wu-Tang Clan. I like the Wu-Tang Clan's music, so I would be down for a Wu-Tang Clan game. I can't wait, to see what it is, but we're probably not going to see this game for some time. A Quiet Place video game been announced coming sometime in 2022. An untold story in the Quiet Place universe, which is supposed to be an original story, is being developed by a developer known by Illogica, and Illogica is part of Saber Interactive. I'm kind of curious on what a Quiet Place game would look like or play like, but I can imagine it would probably be intense. Considering how popular the movies are, I think this movie could be good. It could be bad. We'll wait and see. The developers behind the Prince of Persia remake let people know on Twitter that the remake is still alive, which, let's be honest, the next time we see this, it needs to look good. No excuses at all. Eidos Montreal is sending out a playtest survey that references Final Fantasy Tactics and Ogre Battle, saying that a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster was mentioned in the GeForce Now leak, which data mined like a whole different bunch of games that got leaked that would be coming to PC, including God of War 2018. Koei Tecmo's CEO Ko Shibusawa and Team Ninja is developing a new action game based on the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Now, I'm not really, too familiar with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, but hopefully somebody could have me a bit more informed on that series in the comments below. But knowing how Team Ninja makes their games, and people do like Team Ninja's games for the most part, Shadow Warrior 3 officially got delayed into 2022. Now, I don't really think it was that much of a big surprise, considering it's October and it was supposed to originally come out sometime this year, with some updates earlier in the year, but it kept saying sometime in the end of 2021, and now it's pushed back because they want the game to be at its best quality state. And let's face it, since Cyberpunk 2077 happened last year, I don't blame them one bit. There was a rumor that the PS Plus November 2021 lineup been leaked, saying that the VR game for Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, First Class Trouble, PS4, PS5, and Knockout City. Which this same leaker also noted that there will be 2 additional VR PS Plus games in November, which was apparently announced as State of Play, which a couple days ago, PlayStation officially confirmed that the leak was in fact true. We are indeed getting Knockout City, Kingdoms of Amalur, and First Class Trouble. Now, I don't play none of these games. I really did not like Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, but I know a good amount of people like that game. But if you haven't played it, there you go. And also, State of Play did happen this week, which I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. I did not watch that shit, but from what I saw when I kind of ran it back, it didn't look like nothing remotely exciting was interested to be shown there. And the main consensus is it should have been a damn email. Now, I believe it was a couple weeks ago or maybe last week that there was a report about Apple Music coming to PlayStation 5. It is now officially a part of PlayStation 5, saying that the PS5 offers seamless integration with Apple Music, streaming service with background music and music video playback, so players can listen before, during, or after their gameplay session. The composer behind the Persona series, Soji Meguro, announced his exit from Atlus this week, and saying that he wants to pursue indie game development. Says he wants to produce music as a freelancer and purse indie game development. I think they meant pursue in the games industry article, but purse it is. There were some sales figures that was also released this week, saying Resident Evil Village shipping over 5 million copies worldwide, according to Capcom, which is faster than Resident Evil 7. Which I'm very happy that that game, has sold that much, because Resident Evil Village was a good game. Because Resident Evil Village was a really dope game. It is one of my top games of this year. Sony reported that it sold 3.3 million PS5 consoles during the second quarter of this year. Total numbers are at almost 13 and a half consoles sold worldwide since launch in November of last year. Now that is, you know, still a incredible launch considering we're still under a global pandemic, even though, you know, stuff's been opening up a lot more throughout this year. The fact that it sold almost 13.5 million, and it makes you think how much could have these PS5 sold if there wasn't a pandemic. It really makes you think. Tales of Verizon announced its sales figures, saying that the game has sold 1.5 million copies sold. Now this is a game that a lot of people like. I didn't really fuck with it that much, but it did gain a lot of praise from people who did enjoy the game. There's been a whopping a little bit over 200 million PlayStation games sold in 2021. 141 million, or 70%, were via digital download. This compares to 67% in the same period last year. 26 million, or 13%, are first-party games published by Sony, which compares to 17% in the same period last year as well. Capcom released its integrated report saying RE3 is considered a hit. It didn't really have any sales numbers, so it probably ended up selling less than 7 and 8. Pragmata is making steady progress, has young talent working on it. RE Engine will continue to evolve over time. Mentions free additional DLC for both Rise and Village. Now with Pragmata, I don't think we've seen or heard from that game since it was revealed back at the Future Gaming event last year. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, like that showing was a bit impressive, and bro, please show us more. We need to see it. And it was announced that Crafton, who's behind PUBG Battlegrounds and the Callisto Protocol, has acquired Unknown Worlds Entertainment, who is behind Subnautica. Which, I gotta be honest, apart from PUBG and Callisto Protocol as well as Subnautica, I've never really heard the names for Unknown Worlds or Crafton. This is really the first time I've ever heard of them. But if you guys know a bit more about them, please sound off in the comments. Now with that being said, let me know what you guys think about all these topics that happened this week. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Until next time, it's been Ace Dog here, and I'm out. Peace.